So this is my mom. Her name is Susan Smith. Today I'm going to ask her a couple questions about her job at Abington Health Lansdale Hospital. I'm also going to ask her a few things about previous jobs and just her whole experience in the nursing medical fields. So your first question is, what are your daily duties?
Well, as the manager of patient experience, it's my job to visit with patients and get their feedback about their patient experience, what they like about the hospital, what they think could be improved, what they like about their care, and to get their feedback, it's really important. So that's one of the things that I do. Another thing I do is I manage the complaint and compliment system. So we enter our complaints or compliments into a database so we can track what people are happy about and things we need to improve and things like that. So I manage that system.
Very nice. What would your salary range be?
This is a brand new position, so it really doesn't have a salary range. It is a professional position, though, with a requirement of at least a bachelor's or if not a master's degree. So usually entry-level master's positions are anywhere between $40,000 and $60,000 to start.
Nice, because I was just going to ask you your educational requirements. Well, do you have requirements for the position?
There is a requirement for the position of it's a master's preferred, bachelor required. So I have a bachelor's in nursing and I have a master's in education.
Nice. So now I'm going to ask you 3 advantages and disadvantages about your position.
Well, an advantage is that I get to visit with patients, which is the favorite part of my day, is to visit with patients and to see how they're doing, and to give them time to talk and visit with them. So I really enjoy the patient contact. Another thing I really like is I also run a patient satisfaction meeting with the chief nursing officer at our hospital. And so we meet with all the departments. They come together for a multidisciplinary meeting where we talk about, what we can do to excel and provide an awesome patient experience and where are our challenges and what do we need to fix. And we do fun, innovative things like we create videos with what's a good experience look like and what's a great experience look like. And we create videos, what does service recovery look like in different departments. So that's a lot of fun to do that. Another thing is I'm also on the nursing leadership team, and I serve as nursing supervisor on usually about once a week, and I enjoy that because I get to go around throughout the whole hospital and provide leadership, and it's a very rewarding to do that.
So what would you
That's
say are
awesome.
3 disadvantages or things that you don't necessarily love about your job?
So one of the things that is brand new to me is coaching other people regarding behavior. That is very challenging. It's hard to tell somebody when they're doing something that maybe isn't perceived well by a patient. So it's my job to coach the staff, nurses, doctors, people in different departments, and that's challenging. It's challenging. So I'm actually getting a little coaching myself on how to coach. So that's one of the challenges I face. Another challenge I have is that I have to manage the complaints, and it's hard. It can be very time consuming. You have to do investigation into the complaint and what happened, and it's hard to deal with that on a daily basis. But it's a necessary thing because a complaint is actually a gift. Because when someone tells you something you didn't do right, you have an opportunity to get better. So that was 2. If I had to come up with a third one, I wouldn't say it's a disadvantage. It could be an advantage and a disadvantage. This is a brand new role for the hospital, so I kind of get to trailblaze it. It keeps changing and evolving, but the disadvantage would be it's constantly evolving and changing, and you don't know necessarily where it's going to go. But I have a good attitude, and I try to make it into a positive.
Nice. I can see that. So what would you say is your absolute favorite thing about this position and maybe some of the other positions you've held at the hospital. Can you just give a little brief synopsis about those?
Well, I've only been the exclusive patient experience manager for about 7 months. And so the thing I do love most about it is visiting with the patients. It's very fulfilling and rewarding. I've built relationships with patients and families, and that's really important to me. We're a small community hospital, and relationship building is really important. And I develop true relationships with these people, and I care about them, and I pray for them, because people who are in the hospital are going through tough times, and they need that support. In my general nursing career, I would have to say that my favorite position I had was when I was a staff nurse and charge nurse in the intensive care unit, because again, it was very intensive. The relationship that I built with my patients and their families was precious, very precious. I learned something from each of my patients, and it's a gift. It's a gift to have that kind of intimate relationship with people.
That's amazing. So then, lastly, what do you think your job really offers to the world? And what good does it bring?
Well, I think when you're constantly trying to make things better, you don't know where you're not doing well unless you ask. So in my role, I am coming out and I'm asking, and I ask in a way where people want to tell me. I introduce myself, I tell them I'd like to get their feedback, I ask permission to sit down with them, and then I sit down with them and I have a very candid conversation where I really let them talk and tell me about their stay, and what they think is good and what they think we need to improve on. So I think that I'm genuinely listening to them, giving them my time without distractions. I think that the patient's voice is very, very important. And I think that when people think you really truly care, they're loyal. You build loyalty. So I think that just the fact that we care enough to ask the patients is really important. And I think, as long as we use that information to get better and correct processes or behaviors or things that impede a good experience, as long as we're moving forward, we're on the right road.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.